Service dogs, they are invaluable to the physically or emotionally impaired, which makes it all the more infuriating that others use untrained pets to get privileges they are not entitled to.
It's their training that really distinguishes the legitimate ones from the fakes. 19 states have made it a crime to dress up a pet and pretend it's a working dog.
Many people use untrained pets to receive privileges they are not entitled to. New laws make it illegal to misrepresent a service dog, and some of those laws come with the threat of jail time.
The story of a Camp Pendleton veteran not allowed on a plane with a service dog is exposing a much bigger problem for people with disabilities. 10 News anchor Itika Milana shows us how getting a fake service dog certification and ID has never been easier.
I have no trouble telling which dog is a service dog. I can see a dog out in public and I can tell you whether it's a service dog or not. First of all, it should have 4 feet on the floor. It should be within 24 inches of your knee. And it should behave. It should not be making any noise. It should stay where it's told to. You shouldn't even notice if you don't talk to it. We train our dogs for people with balance problems. The training process is really very unique. I start them at 3 weeks. When they first get onto solid food and are just beginning to stop nursing. We start with spoon feeding, and I sit here by the hour, and I feed one puppy after another. They all learn to sit, they learn to stay there and wait, they learn to wait, they learn to back up, they learn to come when they're called, and by the time those puppies are 12 weeks old, they have better manners than an awful lot of adult dogs that I've seen in my life.
So it really undermines Shadow's legitimacy and the dogs like her, because no longer does her vest and me saying that she's a service dog mean to you that she's going to act a certain way, because you may have seen a dog who was also claiming to be a service dog act in a different way and, misbehave and approach people, bite people, bark at people. And so what it does is it just undermines her legitimacy, and it makes it harder for me to access the public sphere without resistance. So Shadow is my second service dog from Needs World Class Service Dogs. They're a Massachusetts-based nonprofit. NEED stands for National Education for Assistant Dog Services. I got my first service dog when I was 10. It was a great way to increase my independence, help me pick up things that I drop, hit handicap door buttons, open doors in my house, and also to just take the attention off a 10-year-old in a wheelchair who stands out in the crowd. So Shadow's my second. I got her as I was starting my first job post-college, and she does a lot of things for me every day. She picks up my phone when I drop it. She can find it in a pile of clothes. She opens my closet and my drawers that have ropes on them. She hits the handicap door buttons and the elevator buttons. She can bark for help, lots of different things like that. NEEDS is currently advocating for a bill in the Massachusetts State House that would make it a civil fine for misrepresenting your dog as a service dog. So NEEDS staff and several of us with service dogs spent some time at the State House this fall talking to legislators, sharing our experiences with fake service dogs to really hammer home the bill and the need for the bill. And so what it will do is it'll make it punishable by a fine for you to walk into a store, have your dog misbehave, and have that dog turn out to be a fake service dog and not have legitimate credentialing. And so what that will do is it will continue to allow well-behaved dogs and legitimately trained service dogs like Shadow to enter the public sphere without hitting resistance. And so this will really continue to set a standard for service dogs so that the dogs that you see in public act like Shadow and act like her peers and colleagues rather than doing whatever they want. And it'll really continue to allow the word service dog to mean something as opposed to just being any random dog who has a vest from Amazon.
I have unofficially become known as the bitch with the service dog on campus because I'm constantly telling people off, telling them that their behavior is not acceptable, that they're being rude or othering. I catch people staring at me all the time, kind of with a confused look on their face, to the dog, back to me, to the dog, back to me, because I don't look disabled. Like, it's just a whole mix of microaggressions that really go on. The ADA only allows 2 questions when asking whether or not a service dog is a service dog. The first is it a service dog? And the second is, what kind of tasks or what kind of work does it perform? And I only have to give people 2 of his tasks, which is a good thing. A lot of what this bill is suggesting is going to make people in general more invasive about it. I have had people come up to me and like told me that I'm faking my dog when my dog is perfectly well behaved, acting as a service animal, and I absolutely need him to function. I've had people, without talking to me, report me to like store security and be like, this person has a fake service dog, and like store security will come over to me and like grill me about it. And I'm like, you can't do that legally. Like, this is my dog. Like, it is a service animal. I don't have to show you identification. And another major issue with that is that most people don't know ADA rights and regulations when it comes to public spaces. On the other hand, I have met so many I've met so many animals that have been lauded as service dogs that don't act like service dogs.
I think $500 is cheap. I think the fine for impersonating a service dog should be a lot more than that. The problem they're going to have is, what is a service dog, or who gets to say a service dog is a service dog? I certainly can with this ADI affiliation that we have. And I have started to certify, if somebody presents me with a dog that's well behaved enough to get through that test, particularly if it's a veteran, I will certify it, but by God, it's got to behave. Because I don't want any dog out there with my name on it that's not behaving absolutely perfectly.